Everybody, welcome into the K.I.O.S.K Gaming Podcast. I am Outlaw.
I am V. I want to apologize for the delay we've had in our recordings. I had a family emergency go down. Not going to delve too much into it. Things are picking back up. So we're back on track. Today we're going to be talking about peripherals, our favorites, our least favorites, what we feel is best, and what we feel are the worst.
Yeah, there's quite the list. We've been talking about this for quite some time. Most of ours best are kind of the same. V does have more dislikes than I do, but we'll get into that as we go along. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad everything's okay with you and the family.
Thank you.
And yeah, we are going to get into it, guys. I hope everyone's been okay. Here we go. This is episode 2. I hope you guys do enjoy it. First off, we are going to talk about, I think this is both of our lists. Xbox controller is number one peripheral. I mean, we both use it every day. V's got a collection of controllers. I've got one broken ass controller, but it still works. It's just I mean, you can use it for everything, right? Like it works for most games and even a lot of the mobile stuff. Yeah. Console, mobile,
PC. I use it on my tablet to play some of my Xbox Cloud gaming and some of the Steam games that you can actually stream from there, because I don't have the other accessories, but I do have a tablet that'll work.
And it works. You know, I mean, it's most of the time plug and play, so which is nice.
Yep.
I know most of you already have one, or most of you do use one, but we like it. Like it's one of our everyday go-tos. Besides the next one that we're going to talk about, which is going to be the Azeron controller, which is basically a one-handed keyboard. It's very customizable, very programmable. You've probably heard us talk about it many, many times. V knows more about it than I do. He actually sent me his Cyborg 1 because he did get the second one. And I'll let him go into more detail about that because I don't know much about the second one.
So, all right, for both of them, they have onboard memory. The one that I sent to Outlaw has a 2-slot memory on board, but I'm not sure exactly how many software saves you can do. I think I'm sitting at like 35 of them.
You've got a lot. I've got a lot too.
Yeah, I sent him my Azeron profile so that he could work from there whenever he got it. The two that I was just showing, it actually has 6 onboard profiles, and each one are fully customizable. Like every single button on here, I use this for up, down, left, and right. You got your joystick, both of these buttons. Let me get in a good spot here. I mean, you have buttons for days, and you even have these tower buttons, which I really need to talk to Azeron about this one because I'm starting to notice some issues when I'm hitting my towers. I usually set them up for the 1, 2, 3, 4 inventory slots. But as far as the programmable side of it, you can move those profiles from software to onboard. So that with a click of a button, say you're playing GTA and you decide, screw it, I want to switch over to Destiny. Well, with a click of a button and a launch of a game, you're there. You're ready to go. If one of those profiles isn't on there, select it from your software menu, move it to that profile that you want to use, and you don't even have to change anything. Big shout out to Azeron. I'm glad I found them. We talked about it before. I hate keyboards as far as trying to game with because you're everywhere. This makes it simple.
And I will say those towers, I actually do have them fully pulled up. My knuckles hit the top of them when I'm doing stuff, so they're completely out of the way. Like I have to actually push them 1, 2 like that. So it hasn't been too bad.
Big-handed, I'm not.
Yeah, I can't do that. But I like it. Like it's. I thought it was going to be very overwhelming when he first sent it to me. Actually, when I first saw him using it. It's really not that bad. Like a lot of games do have a ton of buttons, as you know. I mean, most of you probably play on mouse and keyboard. It's just with this, it just makes it's easier. Plus, it has an analog stick, and I've always loved the analog stick. It just makes it smoother. But
yep,
that's what I like.
being able to change that from WASD to an Xbox style controller is fantastic. And also, it's not just single button press. I mean, there's an option for each individual key to have a double press, long stroke presses on it. I don't have the software up, or I'd be able to tell you a lot more about it. But I can tell you that it has changed me from being the guy who sat back on a controller all the time to action adventure games. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows with it. You see me on Dead Poly, Once Human. Yep. Oh, God, Elden Ring. Elden Ring was my real breakthrough with that one.
I still don't know how you did that. Honestly, I don't know how you did that. He did it though. Yeah, it was a good watch. But yeah, with as many buttons as Elden Ring has, I couldn't have done that. Plus, you did Liza P on it too.
Forgot about that. Yeah, Liza P is still a tough game, and unfortunately, it's off Game Pass now, so I can't finish it. But did play it with the Azeron.
You did. All right, I'm gonna get into one that I liked that I believe is on V's shit list, but I'm gonna say it anyway. My favorite one, or my next favorite one, I love the Nintendo 64 control. You guys can leave comments, hate on it all you want. I loved it. I thought the damn thing was comfortable. You know, you can hold the middle section and use the thumbstick and the buttons. I enjoyed it. I actually thought that was a very well made controller. You know, for someone does have bigger hands, I thought it felt like a very comfortable control. I do believe that is on V's no list, but I enjoyed that controller.
I don't hate it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't hate that controller. It was awkward. For me, it was, you got your analog here, and then you got to move over here to hit your directional. The Z buttons, everything else I didn't mind. It was kind of hard to hit the left button, but now let my camera reset.
Oops.
It was kind of hard to hit the left button, but I mean, overall, it wasn't a bad controller. It's just, it wasn't, it can't make my list of controllers I would recommend to use daily. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I hear that. Totally hear that. But I don't know. I just liked it. I think it's because maybe I had a lot of 64 games and I just played the hell out of them. You know, it worked perfect for GoldenEye. It worked great for like driving games. I don't know. I enjoyed it. You know, there were some times where it didn't work. You know, but this is for every controller, right? And sometimes just stuff doesn't want to work. So it is what it is.
True.
Yeah.
100% true. Don't matter how much you spend on it or how little you spend on it. That thing is going to last until it decides it's not lasting anymore.
Yeah. I will say though, if I can actually find my 64 with the controllers, I bet those damn things still work.
Oh, with no stick drift?
Okay, well, I can't guarantee that.
Well, I say that because, you know, older controllers, I remember my PS1, PS2, even my PS3 until I actually broke it, N64 that I had. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of hours and never ran into a stick drifting issue. So, yeah, that's the only reason I bring that up.
Didn't stick drift happen with like newer controllers though? I don't really remember it back then.
Yeah, it's been more recent. I want to say probably PS4, Xbox One. Yep. And I think people started complaining about the Switch having issues with it. Yeah. Because even my Wii Pro controller, I never experienced anything as far as stick drift or anything like that.
Man, I can't say that I have either. But no, the Joy-Cons on the Switch things are garbage.
As I've heard.
That's not on the list, but that's an honorable mention of it being garbage because it really is. I mean, you have to have, you know, little hands to play it. I know that they make cooler ones that you can snap on, but I'm not saying anything, V. Oh man.
Well, we know that Nintendo is more child-friendly oriented, so I'm assuming that's why they did that. But they do have that option, right, for a Pro controller for the Switch?
Yep. Which I think I have somewhere. I don't know. And they also have snap-ons. You can change the Joy-Cons to bigger controllers too.
Got you.
Yeah, I think I've seen those before somewhere. But
nice.
You know, as we said, that wasn't on the list, but honorable mention. Well, we can go ahead and do that. Yeah. My next one, I will say, after talking to V, I'm not going to mention the other one because I did have as my favorite ones was the Rock Band drum set, but I didn't use it as much as V. I actually thought the drum set worked well. It did break when I did move a few times, so if I was telling V before we started, if I didn't move as much, I'd probably still work, but he told me that he beat the hell out of his, so as everyday use, maybe not, but once in a while, I didn't mind it. I actually did like it. I think it worked very well for what they made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've played all 4 Rock Bands that's come out, and Rock Band 4 drums felt smoother. They had a nice rebound to them compared to the first couple sets that they had. Obviously, the other ones I played, or 1, 2, and 3, were on PlayStation. The ones that I bought were the Pro set with the cymbals, and they worked great, and unless you accidentally clicked on the retainer ring around the pad itself, and it broke. My cousin's wife bought his for him through Amazon, and his double pedal wouldn't register. So I didn't have that issue. I bought the official, I guess you would say, but
the big ass one,
yeah,
I've seen that one, the black one or the big ass one. Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah. Well, he had that as well, but he got his from Amazon, and my buttons were labeled for Xbox. His weren't.
Weird.
So, and the only reason I call them shit is because they didn't. The sustainability, like they didn't last. They weren't durable at all, and if you get a grown man playing on them or a grown woman playing on them, dude, it doesn't take much to beat the shit out of them and break them. There's other plastics. There's other plastics you can use.
V knows plastics.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. I didn't use it every day, but I would think with someone would use it every day, just puts it through its paces. I mean, I had the sound dampening pads for it, which never worked right. Like those it just made it sound weird. I mean, it still registered the hit, but it wasn't as you had to beat the hell out of it to have the register the hit. But I don't know. Like I said, I think if I didn't move as much, I'd probably still have mine somewhere. It would probably still work, but it happens.
Mine worked up until the actual, I guess you would call it the snare, the red, fell off, and I went to Lowe's and bought an L bracket and put fucking screws in it to hold it back and I played it for a while. Then my cousin got out of even wanting to play. So he gave me his set, but he had already cracked the blue and yellow retainer rings that hold the pad in place.
Damn.
Yeah, so I haven't played Rock Band in quite a few years. Well, at least drums. I have played the guitar, but not the drums.
Yeah. And that actually leads into the next one, the Les Paul controller for the Rock Band, for Guitar Hero, whatever it was. I'd have to say it's probably one of the better ones made. It was very it worked. Like, it was very you can click it, everything worked perfectly fine. I just liked it. I liked the look of it. It looked very clean. It almost looked like a real guitar sometimes, but plastic. It was I liked it though. It was a nice one. I think I had the one I know I had the Xbox one for the Les Paul. I actually did have the Wii one for a bit. You had to actually put the controller inside of the controller. It was very weird. You'd snap off the front, and you'd put the little the Wiimote inside the control to make it work, the guitar. It worked okay. Like, it worked fine. I didn't have it specifically for that reason. I think I might have borrowed it from somebody, but I'd have to say the Xbox Les Paul was my go-to. Like, I still have it. It's still here. It still works. Works. I mean, it's good.
I have the Gibson SG from Guitar Hero 2. I just got to find the adapter so I can play Clone Hero, but it is literally sitting right off screen in that area. So yeah, I agree. The wireless versions were mild latency, but was overcomable. For me, I like the wired versions better.
No, I get that. I honestly don't even remember the wired versions, to tell you the truth. I only thought
show
they
you.
came
You want me to
wireless.
grab it?
Yeah, grab it.
All right.
I'm perfectly honest. I do not remember the wired ones. Huh.
Yeah, I actually got started on Guitar Hero 2 before I played Guitar Hero 1. This is the Gibson SG plugged into the PlayStation.
Okay. I don't think I had it that far back then, or must not have.
Oh, being well, we're both into the heavier grooves,
Yeah.
if you will. We like a good jam, and my cousin came over. God, dude, I think it was Shadow Falls was the song he tried to get me to play and of course he'd already been practicing, become an expert at it.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, man, just try this. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't get my fingers to move like that. And if you know the light that blinds the song, holy hell, that song starts off real mellow and then it's like, no warning, here we go.
Yep. Yeah, I totally understand that one. I understand that one.
Yeah.
But like I said, we do have a list of other ones that we want to talk about as well, which are crappy ones. I'm gonna let V take over and go with his favorite ones, because those are mine. Those are the ones that I have used more than most. So I know there's other ones. If you guys can think of other ones or you like other ones, comment below. Let us know what we missed, because I'm pretty damn sure we missed a lot. But
oh yeah. I mean, these are our personal lists. So if y'all have some that y'all think that we should check out, or maybe that y'all feel like should be there or shouldn't be there, throw it in the comment section. No hurt there. I mean, we'll check them out. Yep. Even if we don't go buy them ourselves, we can definitely see gameplay of them.
Yeah.
And as far as my favorite one, I mean, you already know, we brought it up. This is my absolute favorite device. It has helped me transition from console player to PC player pretty seamlessly, to be honest with you. I use it in a variety of games, from platformers to action adventure, role playing. Yes, I have used it on Call of Duty, and yes, it does work on Call of Duty. It works on Fortnite. It works on Rainbow Six. It works for GTA. Like I said, guys, it is fully programmable. I think there's like 26 or 29 keys on there. Touch a class with that.
And the cool thing with it is so, like I said at the beginning, V sent me his when he got the second one. He was able to send me his profile. So when I installed it on my computer with the software, I uploaded his profile. I had all of his games already programmed to the computer, programmed to the Azeron, which was neat. Like I've been going through it, deleting ones that I don't play, or adding ones that I do play, and just kind of moving the buttons around. But I think that's neat. Like you won't lose anything going from one to the next.
Pro tip, for those of you who do decide that you want to get an Azeron, feel free to mention me. I don't get nothing out of it. I'm not partnering none of that shit like that, but you know what I'm saying. I always set up right here, shift, jump, crouch, and reload. So that row of buttons right there, let me get the camera there. So that row of buttons right there, because you have your hand down in it. Shift, jump, crouch, reload. Every single time. I try to use this one for map, or this one for map, and then everything else is just as you see fit. Yep. Whatever makes it comfortable. I have changed my own profiles after using them for months. Change them up just because it feels a little better a different way. But yeah, guys, if you want a single-handed keyboard, I 100% recommend the Azeron Cyborg. My only complaint is it's 3D printed, so it takes a little bit longer to get, and until we get some more advancements in 3D printing, they do kind of feel cheap. Just remember, there's a lot of technology. When you look at the price, there is a lot of tech in this thing. A lot more than just what's there. Like John was mentioning, these pillars, They're adjustable.
Yep.
Adjustable this way. You can rotate them up. Let's see the knuckle there. This you can adjust as you see fit. You can actually adjust your analog positioning and the little, I call it the directional, because that's what I use it for, is directional. You can separate the fingers out more. You can bring them closer together, but just be careful because there's limited space. Can't get it so close on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my number one, bro. Like I could not game every day without this thing right here. So smooth.
It is nice. I mean, like he was saying, like, yes, it is 3D printed, but it's you can make it as close as you want. You can go as far as you want. You can push them out as far as you need to. Like, it's nice. It comes with all the it comes with a little screwdriver that you can adjust stuff with. And I've been using it a lot now lately streaming. And I like it. I think it's neat. It takes a while to get used to the setup because you do have to edit the profiles. But if you do edit the profiles wrong, you can actually delete the game profile, which I've done several times. And I've actually was talking to V on Discord one night, and I was like, dude, my games are gone. He's like, what'd you do? And I told him. He's like, yeah, you can't do that. So, lessons learned.
Yeah, you mentioned a screwdriver, so I got it right here at my desk. It is a labeled, of course my camera won't zoom. It's a labeled screwdriver. It has the magnetic tips. So don't use it on your computers, folks, because if you fry your computer using this to work on it, one, you're a fucking idiot and that's your fault. And two, magnets, electricity, come on.
Yeah.
I didn't send John the other thumbsticks on there. I have pictures of them, and we will post them, or I'll put them up in post edit. The old stick that I had for the thumbstick, actually used it so much it was completely gone. But when you order, I just dropped a screw. Whoopsie.
You sent me two thumbsticks actually.
Yeah. I think one of those wore the hell out.
One's it's flat, folks. It's not a thumbstick. It's a thumb rest.
This right here is to adjust the tension on the analog stick. So if it ever gets too loose, you can actually adjust the tension on it. And then with the newer one, that one actually has it too. You have a retainer ring to help limit your motion on there. Got the different size analog sticks that come with it. And this one, there's concave and convex, so you got both of them there. I used the stubby. I have used the large one like that. It worked. It just was not my favorite as far as that goes.
Understandable.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
But yeah, dude, that's I could make this whole podcast just talking about that. Dude, I love the Azeron sideboard. I really, really do. But let's move on. Outlaws mentioned the other favorite I have on there, which is another, might as well say daily use, because for games like Wreckfest, golf, what else have we played, dude? There's been a couple of them.
You were playing Spider-Man last night.
Spider-Man, forgot about that. Yeah, I showed it a while ago, but I'll show it again. The Xbox Elite controller. It is one of my favorites. I do have some complaints, but they're negligible. One, the price for what you get compared to other stuff, I would say they're about on par. The old Elite controller, I had the Series 1, I believe it was the RB button quit working, and actually the clip inside broke.
Damn.
As you mentioned, the rubber doesn't last forever on the grip.
No.
So, the fact that they pigeonholed us into selling the paddles separate, which I don't use the paddles anyway. Yeah, see.
That happened on stream. That shit broke off on stream. I was like, oh man. Sorry, go for it.
Got to get some better glue there, Microsoft. But yeah, the fact they pigeonhole you into buying the paddles separate after the original controller Series 1 came with everything you needed. I did do this one custom, so that does make a difference. But the fact that they add price differences for that, I kind of feel like you're sticking it to the people who made you what you are.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not knocking it because, like I said, I use it for golf. I use it for racing games. I use it for Spider-Man. So Xbox controllers, I didn't like the Duke. I did not like the Duke. I will say that.
That was a...
Bro,
my hands weren't big enough for that one.
and to me, the 360 controllers felt like they were lacking. I was a PlayStation fanboy, obviously, but I still, even to this day, having converted over to Microsoft, which honestly, I can't say I'm a fanboy either way. I like what I like.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why our list clashes a little bit. You know, there's games that I'll play that he won't play, and there's games he plays that I'm like, nah, hell with that.
Yep.
But yeah, to me, the best controller though of all time, to personal opinion, was still the PlayStation 3 controller. I loved it. But more modern, it has to be the Elite controller. It just has to be that one, in my personal opinion. A lot of people push towards that PlayStation one. Nah, fuck that PlayStation controller.
No. Like I'm not knocking, you know, PlayStation or anything like that. I just don't like the control because the analog sticks are so close together. Like as I have bigger hands, so when I play it, my thumbs will hit sometimes, or you know, it's not knocking the control. The control's fine. I know tons of people that use it. Obviously, you know, everyone uses it almost every day if they have one. But I don't know. It's just that my biggest drawback is the fact that the thumbsticks are at the bottom and not separate, like side to side, like the Xbox ones. But
and that's the reason why I actually like the PlayStation controller, because I was right there. You know, I feel a little. It took me some getting used to do this versus doing this. Yeah. You know, so it's still going to be one of my favorites. But you're right. They could have made that controller just a touch bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will give them a shout out though for having the same controller since, you know, PlayStation 1. Like their controllers did not change. I think the 5 is a little bit fatter, like, or a little bit wider, but they stuck with the same design.
Yeah, the original PlayStation controller without the analog sticks, and then you had the DualShock that came out, but the DualShock's been pretty much the same ever since then. PlayStation 4 added the touchpad on there.
Yep.
I didn't think it needed it. Now PlayStation 5 has, is it the touchpad they still have with the built-in microphone?
Yeah.
You're trying to add too much into that thing, dude. You know, keep it simple. Those are controllers. They're there to give you movement in the game. We don't need well, like the one I showed you on Temu, where it's got a whole damn screen right here.
Yeah.
You don't need all that.
Yeah.
So, and then my other, well, those are pretty much my daily use. You know, I will have to say the Gibson SG, that's another one of my more favorite controllers.
Yep.
And then for me, I know you didn't like it, but for me, I like the Super Scope 6. I didn't like the Zapper. I like the Super Scope for the ingenuity in it. The game sucked. There wasn't a lot behind it.
Yeah.
But just the ingenuity of being able to have that shoulder-mounted rocket launcher was just, that was badass for a kid who grew up around guns and around hunting and stuff like that. So to me, that was really awesome.
Yeah.
And then of course the Pro drum set is a hit and miss for me, like we discussed. I love the way it felt, love the way it played, love the fact that it pretty much felt like you had a real drum set in front of you. It's just, it was cheaply fucking made, man. Like they could have did better with that.
For the price, they should have done better with that.
Yeah, for the price, they really should. But yeah, those are my favorites and my pretty much daily use, besides my keyboard and mouse, which I've been SteelSeries since I built my PC and just transferred everything over to the new build. So yeah, SteelSeries keyboard and mouse pad. Those are my dailies with that. So,
and he sent me pictures of setups and stuff like that. Like everything's very clean. Like it looks good. Like their products are very well built. Like for daily use, yes, I'd have to say they've been good.
They've held up.
Yeah, they've held up. Exactly.
It's the same with everybody though. You feel like you could get more bang for your buck, but everybody has a voice now with the internet, so everybody's going to bitch now. Our friends Kane and Mystic, they like the razors, right?
Yep.
That's what they use. Yeah, I'm a Steel Series guy. I think our friend Assassin likes Logitech equipment.
Yeah.
So it's all a matter of personal opinion, and it's all a matter of what you're willing to spend to get what you want out of it.
True. That's very true.
Yeah, that's it for my list of plus sides. You ready to hit the downsides?
Well, let's hit the downsides. This is going to be a good list. So I'll go first. So as V did mention, the Super Scope, I never had one. I did use it at my friend's house, and as V said, there wasn't a lot going on with it. I will agree with him that yes, it was very cool looking. It was well made. It's a Nintendo product. Of course, it's going to be well made. You can probably pick one up now and it'll work. But I think the fact that there wasn't a lot of stuff to do with it, that's one of the reasons I really didn't get one, because, you use it every month. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like with one or two games out there, I just never used it. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure I'll get shit saying that there's a ton of games for it, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. I honestly didn't feel the need that they had to make one. You know what I mean? Which brings me into my other one is the NES Zapper. Like the Zapper gun was, it was neat for what it was, but it wasn't necessary. Like we had Duck Hunt, we had a clay game. Like you shoot at like clay pigeons. That may have been the same game. My memory is bad, but
it was.
Yeah. Oh, was it? Okay. So it was. So then that's the only game I really remember are those. After that, it's a one and done peripheral. Like I think the Super Scope is. But again, it's one of those things that came with the system. You either use it or you didn't. So I didn't use it much.
The only good thing I saw about it was arcade use. Like in the arcades, you had the Aerosmith games, you had House of the Dead, you had countless others. And I think that they try to take that arcade feel and bring it home. And I know, like you said, people are going to give a shit about it, but I don't think it worked as well as they thought it was going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's especially when you're playing Duck Hunt and you have your the gun is basically on the screen and you're trying to get that duck and that fucking dog laughs at you. That's it's part of the reason I don't sleep at night is because that damn dog.
Yeah, I get it on that one, dude. I really do.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there may have been a Super NES Aerosmith game that had that on there. Time Crisis. No, all that was later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were very limited on that Super Scope.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but as you said, the technology was advancing. It was something cool to look at, to have, but I don't know. I think the execution didn't pay off enough for them to really put too much into the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. It's a lot of development for a little return.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is, there's still stuff these days that, you can pick up and be like, well, this is just a one-use item, or I'm not going to use this as much. And, I think that's just the way things are now. But back then, like you were like, I need to get this, or if this is the controller, I want to use it every day. Well, you ain't going to, it's like, you won't use the gun every day. You ain't going to use the Super Scope every day.
No, and honestly, too bad. But at the same time, thank God that COD wasn't out back then, because I could only imagine what we would have nowadays with the Super Scope and with the Zapper and countless other peripherals we really probably don't need. Yep. To be honest with you.
Yeah. They would have probably went full on VR, having a real thing. You know what I mean? Or in your but. In a way, thinking about it, would it be cool to see it? Yeah, but would I do it? Probably not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get into it.
Side note, you mentioned that VR. We did that when we went down to the beach a few months ago. Me and Jacob actually did, and Jacob is my youngest son, guys. We did the one where you have the trackpad that you actually walk on and turn and things like that.
Wow.
And it was really cool. Like, it was a really cool experience. The fact that the place that we went kept it so damn hot in there, you felt like Satan was farting on you every turn. Yeah, it's just not. You got to have a cool environment as far as to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. But I don't ever see that becoming a at-home product. I think she said it was like $18,000 was part of their setup.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So. No, thank you.
No, we're good. We're good. We'll stick with our controllers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so my next one that I again is I think a one use device, which was back in the day still, was that Rob the Robot that they came out with NES. I think it worked for one game, and I know it was supposed to be like you had a companion, you had a second player. I think I only had one game. I think it was just that Gyromite game. I'm pretty sure it was just one game, and it was called Gyromite. Fun game, but I think the robot was useless because it took a very long time for it to move and get the discs out and put the discs on the controller. So again, it's a one-use item, not necessary.
Never used it.
Yeah.
Can't say one way or another.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but never used it.
I personally never used it. I've seen videos of it, but like, I had Gyromite. I had the game. I thought it was a neat game. It was a very cool concept, a very cool puzzle game. But the robot took like 2 minutes to get it moving. By that time, you're dead. Like, it wasn't quick. So, you know, you had an enemy coming at you, the door would shut. You'd tell the robot to open the door. By the time they open the door, the enemy's already on you. So, you know, I get the fact that it was a companion. It was something maybe a single gamer would want, but again, the execution just wasn't there for it. Yeah. My last one that I will go for, the Power Glove. I never had the Power Glove, but it's dumb. Like, it really is. Like, yeah. Again, as we said before, like, it had way too many buttons. Configure this, configure that, and the payoff didn't work. Like, you know, it almost looked like you were the freaking Predator. You had to type in codes and do all that stuff. You know, the only thing it didn't do was self-destruct. Unless it did. I didn't have one.
God, I hope not. I used it a few times. One of my cousins had it. We did the little ball catch game, whatever it was. It was not really interesting. It wasn't really something that I would have, even back then. I mean, it came out in the late 80s?
Yeah.
Even back then, bro, I couldn't say, hey, you know, I want to go over there and just specifically to use. No. Power Glove fucking blows, and it's on my list as well, so I'm going to agree. Power Glove, fuck you.
I mean, you know, it was even in that movie. I forget. I think the movie is called like The Wizard or something like that. You know, old 80s movie, and you see the kid driving the car, or, you know, doing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Like, oh, this thing works great, and no, it worked good for the movie, but I wonder how long it took him to set that up.
Editing. Tons and tons of editing.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been nothing else.
Yeah. It just wasn't my go-to. Go to a controller. Give me a controller. I don't need any additional add-ons.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, man.
Decided to go shit on me.
But those are mine. Those are my favorites, and those are my shit ones that I don't like. And I notice now that when I look at the list that most of it was NES stuff. So sorry if anyone that still has them or still uses them or has them, you know, in their collection. But you know, I can guarantee you don't use them today? If you do, comment below.
I still use my Xbox controller to play retro gaming on here, so kind of tells you where we're at with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Power Glove and all those older peripherals that we had are long, not long gone, but in a museum somewhere or in somebody's private collection. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're definitely dated.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ready for mine?
Let's do yours, man.
We're going to start off with the two that you mentioned recently, the Power Glove and the Zapper.
Yep.
Long story short, they weren't as good as they were made out to be. Fun for the time, good for the time. Doesn't stand the test of time.
Yeah.
But, you know, you could be right on screen and still not hit shit with that Zapper. The Power Glove, how many times it wouldn't accurately track what you were trying to do whenever you're trying to do it. It just makes it not worth it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to cut those two short, but we really have nailed it with them. I mean, they're not as good as they were made out to be. 40 years ago, right? Something like that. 40 years ago, they'd have been fine. Nowadays, not worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to save my probably most disliked one for last. But to me, the 10 keyless and the 60% keyboards, they're fine for gaming. They really are. And I know the younger group will probably be like, you know what, fuck this guy. But you got to be able to use your keyboard for more than just one purpose, right? It just is what it is. You can't just, I'm only ever going to use my keyboard for gaming. And my son Jacob, he has two keyboards. He has a full and he has a TKL. And he uses both of them on his PC. And I'm like, dude, just do your thing. I can't. You know, to me, it's like somebody grabbing a calculator when you've got your phone right there in your pocket.
Yeah.
You know, there's no sense in having two of the same device. I like to having that option of being able to hit my number pad as I want to. And it's if I want a small keyboard, I've got a small keyboard.
Yeah.
You know, that's my biggest argument on them. Have you ever used them yourself, bro?
You know, bro, I just thought, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. When I wrote those down and I was looking for research on them, I never touched one. I had no idea what the hell they were until I looked them up. So I was like, that's why. So when we were talking, I asked him. I said, "What the hell are these things?" And then we both looked them up. I said, "I made sure that I had the right information, but I've never used one before. I just haven't."
They're good in their own right. You know, if all you're going to do is game with them, they would be a great console accessory. But for those people who use them on PCs and then they have to do this to type in numbers and stuff. Like I do a lot with numbers, you know that.
Yep.
And I like having that full function. Well, they brought laptops in at work for us to enter in information, but they're TKL on the laptop. Like they don't have your number pad. And I am at the point where I'm almost ready to just go buy a damn number pad. That way I can key shit in. I like to get stuff done, get out of the way.
Yeah.
And when I'm having to do more steps than necessary, I don't like it. So that's my hot take on keyboards. Full size or nothing.
Like I said, bro, I had no idea what the hell they were until I looked them up. I'm like, oh, okay, smaller keyboards. I don't like them, but I'm gonna let you take that one.
I got my next two items, which are actually my last ones. We have members of our communities that use these items. One of them is the eye tracker. Why? Like, why? Why do you need an eye tracker? If you're visually impaired, okay, I can understand that. If you already own a VR headset, use that. But the eye tracker itself, like, I don't want people to know what I'm looking at every moment that I'm streaming or in a, like we are now in a Discord call or something. I don't want people to know all that stuff, but I guess that's a personal opinion. I'm sure they could be useful. Not my thing. I've seen, what is that one, that big orb looking fucking thing? I have to look it up and send you a picture of it later.
Send me a picture of that one.
But I mean, you're looking like, and this thing is just.
I don't know which one that it is.
Oh, I'll have to find it, but I will send it to you. To me, I don't. It's an accessory that is very limited in necessity. And that's not saying they should be obsolete because of that, because obviously I prefer everybody to be able to game, no matter what your situation is. But I don't see, I guess it was a fad thing when they started coming out. Actually, we do have somebody use this one, right?
Yeah, I was actually just gonna say, so my buddy Goofball, who does stream as well, I'll put a link to his channel on here, but my buddy Goofball uses it. So he does a lot of simulation games, and he plays American Truck Simulator, which I have as well. But he uses the eye tracker, and I think that's kind of where I think it works. I think it works well for that game, because if you do look to the right, you look to the left, like you will see out the window. It's more realistic, but I've never personally used it, and I'm super fidgety. So I think with me having one, it would just get everybody sick, because I'd be looking around. But when he uses it, it's very smooth. It works for what it does, but I think he only uses it for ATS, and I think maybe like the other sim games, like the farming sims and stuff like that. But it works for him, and I'm glad that he can use it, and I've seen him use it before. Like his setup, he has, the way that everything looks, you can see everything. But I do agree that you just don't need to see everything that you're looking at. But for ATS, I think it works quite well.
Yeah, I agree, man. For some people, it's a thing, and I get it.
Yeah.
When I was playing ATS with y'all, a few times I have actually put on the VR, which I've recently sold my VR because it was collecting dust, but fidgety, like you said.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here and I'm driving and got my race wheel set up, and I'm, I can feel the vibration. Well, every time the steering wheel will vibrate, whoa, it would make you motion sick to look through that VR headset.
Yeah.
As far as the eye tracker thing, again, it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's just not something I can enjoy. Maybe I didn't get enough practice with the ones that I have used, but overall, I don't think it's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I get that, and I get that.
Yeah, it's and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking them. Personal list, I just don't see my everyday use for it.
Yeah. I get that.
And then my last one, and I know somebody that we talk to pretty much every day.
Sorry.
And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this, but fuck a trackball mouse. Fuck a trackball. For those in the back, fuck a trackball. I don't like them. My aunt introduced me to the trackball mouse years and years ago, and it was good for a game called Breakout.
I remember that
little
game.
Paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, little paddle, bounce the ball, clear the level, get power-ups. It was okay for that.
Yeah.
As an everyday gaming device, hell no. I have to have which my sensitivity anyway.
Yeah.
But I have to have that flick of a wrist. And honestly, guys, for those who don't know, that right there, I can do a full 360. So I have to be able to control
I've seen it.
Yeah. I set my sensitivity, not at max, but I'm running pretty damn high. So COD, that's all I can blame it on is COD for that. But no, the trackball mouse, to me, workstation stuff, yes. Secretariats, yes. Gaming, if that's your thing. But I personally hate a trackball mouse.
I can already see said person typing out a strongly worded letter.
I think we might have to disable comments for this video.
Maybe. That's not gonna matter, dude. She'll let you know.
I'm going to be radio silent for about 6 months after this. Incommunicado.
You know, I can't say. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, dude. But I can't say like, I can't say that I've used it a lot. I do remember using it in high school. I think one of my first like computers in the 90s may have had one that I used, but I couldn't seem to use one now. I couldn't get used to it. But
yeah, it's not me.
Yeah, understandable.
But yeah, that's my list as far as what I consider shit devices. And by shit devices, I'm just meaning stuff that I don't use, won't use, have no need for.
Yep.
Are they bad for everybody? Obviously not. And I'm sure Outlaw feels the same way about the things he posted on there. Just like our good. I don't think our good devices are good for everybody.
Yep.
You actually tried, what was the handheld that you tried? Was it the one that you bought and sent back from Amazon that you said, you know what, I tried this fucking thing, but I can't use it?
So basically, like I said at the beginning, when I saw the Cyborg or saw the Azeron, I didn't know what to think of it. Like, I thought it looked very complicated. So I ended up buying, I had to look it up. I forgot what it was called, but it was basically a mini keyboard. It actually had keys on it that you can place your palm on and you can use it kind of like the Azeron was. But it was a keyboard. So you had the click, you had all that stuff, but the analog stick was like a WASD. Like it actually had that click to it, not like an analog stick. So I just didn't like it. I actually used it for like one game, maybe half an hour, and I was like, this isn't gonna work out. But again, I'll look it up. I forgot what it was called, but it honestly was a one-handed keyboard. It had, all the buttons you needed, but I didn't like it.
Yeah,
it did not work.
He sent me the link to it, and I remember that, and I was like, "Bro, it doesn't look like it's going to be as effective as what you think." And to be fair, it wasn't a cheap product, but it was a cheaper price product. And as I've gotten older and looked into things more, I found that sometimes cheaper really is not always better.
Yeah,
you can get those hits, but for the most part, cheaper is not usually better. And when he showed me the software layout for it, I was like, hold on, dude, this is what I have. And I showed him the Azeron layout, and he was like, damn, that's easy. He's like, I got to go here, change this, and then go over here and adjust that. And so, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I remember it, and we didn't touch on it when we were talking about it, or talking about the Azerons earlier, and I was like, dude, he can give you the perfect example of,
no,
we're not doing that.
No, and honestly, like I said, one of the worst things was the fact that the analog stick clicked. Like, it actually clicked. It didn't feel like a full motion analog stick like we're used to. It almost felt like a D-pad thrown on top of an analog button. It didn't work right. It was very, very strange, almost like the D-pad on the Elite controller, how you can pop it off and you can change it. Those work well. This just had a strange click to it, and I couldn't get used to it. And it made sometimes made the character stop or look around, and you're like, I didn't do that. Like, I don't want it to just stand there. Because I think I used it on a game called Grime, and V introduced me to that game. So it's a Dark Souls-esque game. It is a cartoony. Not cartoony, but it's a cell shaded type looking game. Neat game, and I tried to use it on that, but with the analog stick the way that it was, I think that would have just been impossible to do because you had to be pinpoint accurate, roll around, get the boss. Dark Souls type games, but I think with that click, it just didn't work at all.
And I think the other issue you mentioned was getting it to program what buttons did what for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
because the software wasn't good. Like it wasn't set up the same way as the Azeron was. Because as V said, you can click on whatever button you want and say, okay, what keyboard command? I want this to be A. I want this to be enter. That one, because it was a keyboard already, telling it what you wanted it to do, just it wanted to override what you had. So
Yeah.
needless to say, it is back on Amazon's shelf now.
Hey, I want to point this out real quick too, because I was sitting here thinking, guys, we're not plugging Azeron.
No.
We're not sponsored by them in any way. We're just a couple guys who are talking about things that we like when it comes to the gaming world. And it just so happens to be that we came across the cyborgs, and I mean, it's like meeting your soulmate, if you will. You know, it's that you met that one person who just makes you feel good every time you use it. I will say there's arguments with it.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, I would recommend anybody who games on keyboard and mouse, try it out. I mean, if nothing else, go on Amazon and buy one. And if you don't like it, send the damn thing back.
Yeah.
I have a feeling if you give it enough time, like me personally, it took me about 6 months, I believe it was, to get used to it.
I think something like that, yeah.
You know, and I would get frustrated. I'm like, you know what? The hell with this. I'm going to go back to controller. And Outlaw was like, dude, you know, your wife spent a lot of money buying that thing for you, bro. You need to drink. Like, she's going to be pissed.
I don't think he used it for like the first like 2 months he had it just on his desk.
Yeah, it was just a pretty little paperweight.
I kept talking to him like, bro, it's like, she's sitting behind you. You might want to start using that. You might want to start using that thing.
But we got it done. We got it used, and you know, fortunately, I guess you could say I was the test dummy on it. I was able to get some profiles set up, and I found a way that I liked it. And I passed my knowledge on to Outlaw, and he was able to pick it up. I mean, honestly, if you saw us at separate times using it, and neither one of us mentioned it, you'd be like, V's a dumbass, and Outlaw called it quick. But it's just, you know, it's a knowledge thing, man. Knowledge is passed down through time and age, and people today are smarter than they were before because the people were smart enough to think about what they thought about, you know. Yep. And I'm glad that he was able to take that device and use it. I think he tried it, Power Wash was like one of the first ones that you were actually trying.
Because that was one of the easier ones, yeah.
Yeah, and there you go. You know, I did it with Dead Poly. Dead Poly it does have a lot of buttons, but it doesn't necessarily have a lot of buttons. It can be set up easy. And so I was able to get it, figure it out, get some practicing on it. Then I went to Elden Ring with it, which was holy shit. That was a whole nother world.
Still don't know how you did that.
But yeah,
one.
man, I love it. Well, fun fact, last night we were talking. I recently updated my computer. I took 3070 out, added a 7900 XTX. Decided I'm going to check out some of these games, see how they are. Well, I had threw on the controller so I could try Wreckfest and Spider-Man and my golf games and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, well, I want to see how Elden Ring looks with this updated GPU. And I played it with controller. And I told Outlaw, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm cheating. Like this.
He said it out loud. He's like, I can't play this game right now. He's like, because I'm using the controller. He's like, I'm done. Like, it was cool. It was cool to see, because I know that it was just testing the graphics out. But that was one of the first things he said was, I can't use the controller. I just can't.
Matter of fact, I also tried to use a controller on Liza P. Remember when I rage deleted the damn?
Oh, yeah.
I was using a controller on stream when I did that, and I finally got a setup that I liked for my cyborg. Went back and played it. I've been playing it offline, off stream, if you will, but with just a couple friends in Discord, and it was a whole different world. Like the game was not as bad as I thought it was just by switching what peripheral I was using.
Which I thought was pretty cool, pretty interesting. But yeah, like on the flip side, I tried it for Liza P. I couldn't get used to it. Like I thought that game was great on controller. Same with Elden Ring. Like I don't think I can go to using the Azeron over the controller for those type of games. But I understand where V's coming from. Like he used it before, and he knows the layouts, which is nice. But like I think those type of games would be best on controller, at least for me.
I give him time to practice, folks. Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
Honestly, I've been trying to talk him back into getting into Dead Poly. I think that would be a big one that would help him with the movement setups on it. Because when you're driving with that thing, remember it is WASD, and I find myself trying to analog steer, and it works, but when you get to the W or when you get to the A or the D, you're there. It has the WA combo, and it has the WD combo and the AS combo and the AD all built in, but you don't have that sensitivity metering.
Yeah.
Like you do on a controller, and that's nothing with the Azeron itself. That is just PC gaming.
Yeah.
It takes a little more to get used to that shit.
Yeah, me and my other buddy, we've been playing a game called Way of the Hunter, or Way of the Hunt, something like that. And I drove in the game really quick because I wanted to get back to him. Like, you can't fast travel a lot around there, but I wanted to get back to him, and I ended up going to one of the cars and trying it. And as soon as I got in the car using the Azeron, I went right into a tree. I said, no, this is not going to work. I got out and just ran to him. So I know what he's talking about with the weird control, or the non-analog way, but it still works. It still worked. I just got out and ran to him.
I got a side question for you.
Yep.
Is there any peripheral that you saw but never used that you wish you would have got a chance to use?
Ooh, that's a good question. No. I mean, honestly, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Like, I think I'd like to use an eye tracker just to see how it is, or just to kind of get used to it, but I don't know if it'd be something I would stick with. I honestly don't know. That's a good question. How about yourself, bro?
For me, I saw these mice. They're custom built as a FPS player as well, but you literally like you're holding a gun. And so you can turn just by twisting your wrist. Wow. And then you have your shoot. Let's think it's like ADS and shooter right here, and then you have your grenades and tacticals is right here. Look up, look down. Look left and right. That's one device that I would love to give a try, but I don't think I would ever add it to the collection and keep it in the collection, mostly because I don't play FPS like I used to. So that for me would be that, or possibly the Aviator setup for like Flight Sim or something.
Yeah.
I think those would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a flight stick. But I couldn't. Taking off is very easy. Landing is rough, But I used to have the flight stick for that. But I actually did return it, I think, because I just couldn't get used to it.
I got you.
But I liked it, but it was like you said, one of those things where it'd probably just sit on my desk or sit in a cabinet somewhere because I just wouldn't use it every day.
I got you.
Yeah. But if you guys have anything, let us know. I'm sure we missed something, or you guys use something more than we do. Let us know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, feel free to hit it up in the comments, man. I mean, if nothing else, throw stuff out there that you think that we should try.
Yeah.
Maybe give a second chance to. Who knows? Maybe one of us will scoop it up, record it, throw it on our TikTok, throw it on our Instagram, let you see us actually using it.
Never know. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a world of stuff out there that we just haven't even touched on. So yeah, if you think of anything and you're using it now, definitely let us know, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, folks, that is it. That is our list of most hated peripherals and most liked peripherals that we have used. Do not forget to follow us on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and also Instagram. if we get enough feedback and you guys would like a live recording, we are still setting up our Twitch account. Feel free to follow us over there. The full video will, of course, be up on YouTube, and we will edit shorts and see what we can get from the full recording. But as of right now, that is it for me.
Yep. Episode 3 is coming soon. Obviously, the time of recording is not ready yet, but we will be doing our top 5 consoles next round. Yeah. So be sure and stick around to check that one out. Guys, for now, the kiosk is closed. See ya.
Till next time.